do that. That was a big deal. All right, so I've created the fork of my repository, again, by clicking the fork button up here in GitHub on the class repo, which I put in Slack. Now that I've got it, I'll clone it down. Clone it. I click the green button to clone. I use the copy button because I'm really lazy, and that's how I do things. You can just copy the link up in here. That also works. Go to my terminal. Is that okay color-wise? Can you see that? Is that clear enough? I always wonder if I should do like the dark or the light. The light?
No.
That's white.
What I tend to find is that from far away, the light background's better. And on the screen recording, it's clearer. Although it can be kind of bright. But we'll go here. If you don't like it, I can always, obviously, I can click a button and go back. So, yes.
When you write like this in small, please zoom in.
Yes, okay. Better?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to change to my temporary directory on my machine. I'll do an ls minus al. What does the minus al do?
A list all no.
It lists A is for all.
Oh, list.
L is for
All the list items.
the long list format. L does that. So wait, got ugly, didn't it? L makes it spread out so I can see all the details about the files. That's what I typically do. I'll do a git clone and paste in that link to the repository and bring it down. It's running nice and fast, isn't it?
It's not.
That's a joke. That would be my sarcasm right there.
How big it is?
It's not that big.
Okay, then it's not.
It's just taking its time. 99. Wow, okay. There are some pictures in there, I guess. So, all right, I'm going to go into that folder now. So I'm going to cd to my amman folder. Just do a quick ls-al to see that I have things in here. And of course I get everything, all the class days and what have you. Now that I'm in here, I'll give you one new command which you may or may not have seen. It's git remote --v. Git remote -v tells me what this is connected to. So when you type git push origin master, what is origin? Who knows what origin actually is?
Branch.
Say again?
Branch.
And nope, the branch is master. The word origin, you type git push origin master.
Go to the way that you connected it.
If I do that, what I want to know is what is this word tied to? So origin is a variable name. Just like you would do in your code. Origin is a short way to not have to type git at github.com, this whole thing up in here. Origin means all of that, which is really nice that GitHub lets us do that. So when I do a git remote -v, it tells me where my GitHub, where my local repository knows that things are at remotely. I'm going to add a new remote, and we're going to call this one upstream. So my command is going to be this: git remote add upstream, and that upstream is going to be the link to the class repository. So I'm going to copy the link for that one and paste that in. And now when I do a git remote -v, you'll see that I have origin, which is pointing to mine, and an upstream that points to the class, the real class repository. So I have my copy. The class has its copy. Now I can fetch from upstream. So if I were to upload something new to the class repository, you all could just fetch that down. And the way that you do that is git pull upstream master instead of origin master. So if I upload demo code, and I will every day, you'll do this command in the morning to get the new stuff. And that way, I can give you files through GitHub. You can take your notes in the wiki and even add your own files. If you want to add your own things to your repository, that's fine. But now we can be sharing in a nice, easy way. So this is a task for you to do today, as when I'm done lecturing this morning. Get your repository forked so you have your own copy of it.
Can you see please the previous code?
What do you want to see?
The previous
Remote,
command.
Oh, hey, you know what I did for you? I did you a favor.
No,
In class 0,
terminal. No, a terminal.
yeah, it's all here. Here's your 2 commands. So it's in the repository, the command you're going to type. So git remote add upstream. This is, of course, pointing to the wrong class. You'll point to your class. And then git pull from upstream master.
Is that a matter to change the origin to upstream?
We're not changing to upstream, we're adding upstream. So you'll have origin master and also upstream master. You'll have 2 remotes.
Mr. John?
Yes.
What's the aim of the new upstream?
Say again?
What the aim of...
Oh, it'll be the class repository. It'll be the one I put in Slack.
We will push our work or lab to this class? No.
To your personal one.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll push your, and actually, you don't push anything to the repository anymore. Every lab, you'll make a new repository. Except for today's labs. After this, you'll make a new one every day. So what'll happen is your GitHub is going to have a whole lot of new repositories in it for all your lab work. Yeah, now the class repo will be used for information only. I'll just push demos and notes there. But everything else that you do will be on your own in your own repositories. All right, so that's task 1. That's listed here in the class repository on the very first page for day 0. So the commands I typed are here for you to reference. And of course, we're here to help with that. So that's the first task for today. Before we do labs A through D, I want you to fork the repository first.
Okay.
Because you're going to actually check in labs A through D in the repository.
So should we start right now?
No, well, after we finish this session, then we'll turn you loose and let you do this, and we'll be around to help out. Okay. Our next task will be this. I'm going to make a quick change here, so give me 1 second. Class 00. I'm actually going to demonstrate how this works for you right now. Class 0. So I'm going to demonstrate this. I just actually copied some files into the class repository just now. And I pushed to master.
So every time we want to enter this, we have to pull.
Yep. I'm going to show you right now. So I went to master. You'll see that the comment here is welcome to 301. If I refresh, it should say something new, like updated 00. That was the thing I just did. Okay. This would simulate after lecture, I upload some code for you. Then I will go to my local where I have that. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. Here I am. Okay, so this is the folder that I just created with my version of the repository. Let me show you how it looks in GitHub. So in GitHub, where's my personal? Did I navigate away from it? I did. So my personal still shows the old stuff. I'm going to pull that upstream right now. Okay? So we're going to go here and say git pull upstream master. And that should pull the files that I just uploaded back down. You'll see that they come through here. And if I go back now to my local, my version of that repo, my fork, my class 0 should have new content in it. So the things that I just uploaded now will appear here for you.
Mr.
Mr. John,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm a bit confused between origin and upstream.
Mhm. So origin will be yours.
Mm-hmm.
So if you fork, let me go and draw you a quick picture here. All right, so at GitHub, this is the class repo. Okay, you're going to have your name / right, I'm on 301D1. This is your fork. I draw my F's backwards, by the way, sorry about that. This will be called origin for you. This is yours. Origin means my stuff. This is going to be upstream. Okay, so when I will push to here, so this is going to be, John goes here, you will always pull from upstream to your branch, to your fork. So to get our updates, you will say a git.
I can do pull anytime I want?
Yes.
If I want to do a push, you should give me a permission for that, or I cannot do that.
You can never push back to the
Never.
class, yeah. This will give you the code from my system. So git pull upstream master
Yes.
will pull from our class repo down to your repo. And that way you can stay in touch with all the latest updates. Okay, so some things to show you now. That was one piece that we'll have to do today. The second piece is going to be this DS&A repo. So just from kind of a clerical standpoint, the way that I write and draw and talk, when I do this, let me get my pen. That symbol to me means and. So I'll type this and that. That means this and that when I type that. I don't draw very good ampersands. Some people can draw them really well. That looks ugly, so I don't try to do that. Just so you know. And also this is an F. I think you all probably draw that as a 7. Right? I learned in English the cursive way of drawing an F is like this. I learned that when I was in 2nd grade. And I went to a Catholic school, and they used to hit you with a ruler if you didn't draw things right. So that was how I make my Fs. And because my hands are permanently scarred, I will write my Fs that way. So when you see this, it's not a 7. Just to kind of get that out of the way right now. Okay, so we're going to do this thing called a DS&A repo today. So another thing we're going to do is this, DS&A, which is a fancy way of saying all of this. Data, and who knows the last word?
Analysis.
Algorithms?
Yes. Algorithms. Data structures and algorithms. We're not going to do data structures and algorithms in this class. You're going to do those in 401. However, the repository that you're going to do for this class, you will use in 401. So we're going to make a new repository called Data Structures and Algorithms. And we're going to do all of our code challenges. You'll see how these work later today in this repository. So all I want you to do this morning is make a new repository. So if you have on your system, let's erase my chicken scratch. You all know what chicken scratch is?
We do have it in Arabic.
You do? Chickens? Yes, my nasty handwriting. All right, so erase my chicken scratch. What I want you to do, you probably already have this. Do you have a code fellow, or what are you calling he's calling LTUC for their root folder? For where all their code goes. Did they have a folder called LTUC or code fellows? We have our students do
They
this.
have projects folder on there.
A projects folder.
Probably. Maybe they need to create a new one for the
Yeah, so what I typically do with this is I'll have my students create, I'm going to be in my temp folder. They usually create a folder called Code Fellows. You all can make one called LTUC, whatever you want to call it. And in the LTUC folder, actually I should have put my other stuff there. Move. So in my LTUC folder, I'm going to put this class repo in it. I'm also going to put a new repo now called Data Structures and Algorithms. Everything you do for your courses should be under this umbrella folder. Like 401, you'll have amman 401 V1 in here as well, and then all your lab work goes in here too. I would recommend that you make in here a folder called 301, just to have your 301 labs go in this folder. It just makes sense. And then your 401, I might as well make dir 401. So your 401 labs can go there. That way you can find things easy. You'll see that through the course of 301 and 401, you're going to have 50 repositories, maybe more, and probably 1,000 files. So having a way to organize that, I think, is really important. So in our 301 folder is where your stuff for the class go. But out here at this level, again, I'm at my LTUC level. I have three folders, 301, 401, and I'm on 301 D1. Let me go back to GitHub again and make a new repository. So click on the plus sign and say new repository. Now I really can't create this, but I'll show you. I guess I'll make a fake one. Data-structures and algorithms. Now it's saying that I already have this one, so I'm going to put a dash LTUC on it. You won't do that. Yours will just be data structures and algorithms, but I want to be able to make the repository. I'm going to create that repository, and GitHub will do its thing, and I will copy the link back to my terminal, git clone the new repository.
So inside the LTUC or inside the 301?
No, inside the LTUC folder. So now if I look at my structure, I have 301, 401, my class repository, which really could go inside the 301 folder, but I like to have my class repository separate from the inside. These are more for labs. This is more for your class.
Okay.
And this is going to be a folder that we use all the time. So I'm going to go to my data structures and algorithms folder and do an ls. And right now you'll see there's nothing in here. There's about to be something in here. So what I'm going to do is go to my Finder. I use a Mac, obviously. You all use Windows, so you'll use the Windows Explorer to do this next step. But if I go to, for me, my Code Fellows folder, your class, Class 0, Lab D, Starter Code, there's going to be some stuff in here. I need to do Command-Shift-Period to see the hidden files. In this folder, can you see the hidden files? There's .eslint.rc.json,
Yeah.
and there's a gitignore, and there's a package.json. 3 files. I need those 3 files to be in the thing that I just created. So I'm going to copy those files and go back to my John folder, to my temp directory, to my LTUC folder, to my data structures folder. I'm going to paste those files in there. So now if I go back to my command line, those 3 files are here now. Okay? You can do the drag and drop like I just did, or you can do a copy from the command line. Either way is fine. I think it's good practice to learn both ways. So those of us who I call shredders or professionals will use the command line. I think it's good to see it both ways. So now my data structures and algorithms folder has some new stuff. An eslint.rc.json, a .git file, which is your Git repository information, and a .gitignore file. We'll talk about these a little bit later on today. For now, I want you to know that they have to be here. You must have these files in place. One more command to type. npm space install. This is going to do a lot of work for me. It's going to get my repository ready to do data structures work. So we're just getting ourselves set up so that tonight we can do our first code challenge. This is a pre-work step. That was not in your pre-work, but I wanted to demonstrate it for you in person.
Mr. John,
Yes.
can you please repeat the previous step?
Which step?
The copying the files.
Sure.
Mr. John, is it okay if we, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to interrupt, but we could also use git ignore from the,
You could. The one that I've got here has more things in it.
okay, I see.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
can make
when
one
we
from
create-
there.
When we create a new repository, we click none for the git ignore.
Click none, right.
Okay.
At some point, I'll teach you how to make your own git ignore. There's a place you can go to do it. The one that I'm giving you has got special things in it that we need for our class.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Yeah. So the previous step was this. In my, and again, I'm working on a Mac, so it might look different than what you're seeing. But in my code fellows folder, this is where I keep the things. I've got a folder called classes with our class in it. And for today's class, Lab D, there's a starter code folder. And in that folder, there's 3 files. eslintrc.json, a git ignore, and a package.json. I'm going to copy those files out of that folder. And again, you don't have those files yet. I haven't yet uploaded them. So I'll get them to you after we lecture here. Once those files are there, then you can copy them and move them into the data structures and algorithms folder that we just created. And once they're there, I run this command, npm install, and again, these, I'll show you where the instructions for this are in your class repo. Now my folder looks different. It's got some new things in it, and I'm going to push this up to my master. So git add, git commit -m, first DS&A folder, and git push origin master. That'll just take a second to finish. And if I go back to GitHub, this repository, this repository should now have those files. And there it is. So that's all for that. That is your whole Lab D today. Is just get this repository set up. Because tonight we're going to use it, and I'll lecture today how do you use this repository later.
Yeah.
But for this morning, I want you to have it so that tonight we can do it. It's really important, really, really important that we do it this way. I'm going to change back one folder, and then my LTUC folder again.
Mr. John,
Yes.
I noticed that there's a 4 folder in data structure and algorithm. From where the fourth one?
The 4 files.
Yeah, the fourth one.
Oh, the package lock?
Yeah.
It got created. When I ran npm install,
Okay.
it makes that file for me. Yeah.
Thanks.
Magic. There's a lot of magic that happens, for sure. Yeah, where was I? I was at here. So my folder structure is really important. Make sure that your data structure and algorithms is a separate repository and that you don't do it inside of your class folder. That's really important. A lot of people mess this up where they go into the class folder and create this repository. Don't do that. Make sure it's separate. That's really, really important. Otherwise, your Git gets really messy. Every class 1 person does it, so don't be that person. So that is going to be it for this morning session. I want you to fork the repository. I want you to make this data structures folder, and then I want you to start working on labs A through D under day 0. So if we go back to our class repository, you will see that where we 301D1 class 0. You have lab A, lab B, lab C, and lab D. There's 4 things to do today. These are mostly practice assignments.
And on campus.
They're on Canvas?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So you have 4 things to practice. Lab D we just did. I showed you how to do Lab D. And the instructions for that are actually in here. Lab D has all of the things to type. Everything that I just did is listed in here. Okay, so you can follow the instructions from video, or you can read them here on the day.
Actually, what you did, it's so easy, but the instructions show me so complicated. There's a lot of
Yeah, I rewrote the instructions
Okay.
to make them easier to follow. So hopefully the new set, I'm going to push those up here in a minute. They should be easier to read. Because I agree, they're
They're not.
the thing that we do at Code Fellows a lot is we write instructions like we're writing a book.
Yeah, right.
A lot of them are a lot of paragraphs and long sentences are hard to read.
Yeah.
So I'm going more towards making things that are like bullet points that you can just follow. So I'm going to upload a new set that's easier to read for you this morning along with that starter code, so you'll have a better thing to follow. All right.
So they should do the prep things before, or they
No, they should execute. Yeah, any prep work that wasn't yet done should be done, right? You have until 2 o'clock to finish your pre-work for the class, plus these 4 labs, plus the thing I just showed you. So for the next however many hours we have, my clock is set to Seattle time for some reason. What time is it?
10:40.
10:40, cool. So we have until about 2 o'clock. So yeah, to finish all of that's a lot. It's a lot. And as I said in Slack, I recommend highly that you take an early lunch. Like eat lunch at like 11:30. Right? And I mean it. And we were just talking in the hallway about this because lecture from 2 to 5 is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to talk for 3 hours at that time. It's gonna be you're all I know you love me already, but you're gonna be falling asleep, right? I mean, at 4:30, I lose my class every day. They all start nodding off because it's hard because you eat lunch and then your body digests the food,
Yeah.
and then you get tired. Most companies, you do all your work in the morning and all your meetings in the afternoon because they know that you're not very productive after lunch. Just the way that the world is. But I have to be productive after lunch. So if you would eat early, let it digest so that by 4 o'clock you're happy and ready to listen. So that's my advice for you. Take an earlier lunch. But yeah, spend the rest of your morning finishing pre-work. We're here for questions. And then execute labs A through D. And then we'll come back at 2 o'clock. And the first hour is going to be just a lot of about the course, who we are, I'll learn more about me. I can learn more about you. And then we'll actually have actual coding lectures.
So from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. we are not gonna have break.
Breaks.
We'll be breaking.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I'm not going to talk for 3 straight hours. No. No, I go about 45 to 50 minutes and then a break. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you need a break, like if we need to get to the bathroom or something, then let me know. And I try and look around. If I can tell that we're getting tired, I'll stop talking and we'll take plenty of breaks.
And
Yes.
we have smokers here, that's why.
Oh, that's right. They told me that. You guys all smoke? Seattle, nobody smokes. If you smoke in Seattle, you're like, they put you off to the side. Well, you can't smoke in Seattle within 40 feet or 50 feet of a building.
50 feet.
So everybody who smokes has to go across the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's actually, you're kind of, they're trying to get away from it, so.
Just quit.
Do you guys do the e-cigarettes here?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
do.
Yeah. Is that a big thing or is that just kind of,
It is.
Yeah,
it is?
Yeah.
They're trying to outlaw them in the States. Yeah, they're trying to get already because I think like 9 people died.
Yeah. It
From it.
blows something?
It does something to your lungs that's different.
Ah.
And yeah, so they've already they're trying to outlaw them. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's it for me. I'm going to stop the recording. More questions?
For the lunch,
Yes.
is it gonna be the same every day? Can we set the time?
I'm not going to set it. My personal opinion is that people are grown-ups and can eat when they want to. Right? So we're not going to dismiss you for lunch because normally the way that the system works, and again, I know that we're all packed into one room here. Normally you're in a wide open working space on your own time, your own schedule with your partner, and then we convene at 2 o'clock for lectures. So what you do until 2 o'clock, I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care. Just do what you're going to do. Be grown-ups about it.
That's good.
I'll see you at 2 o'clock is how I phrase that. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. The next way.
Just for
Is she gonna work for the class at 301? but she didn't go to work, go to work, and forget.
Oh, no.
Group for
Oh, yeah, don't do that again.
what I
You can just delete it and then reform the class one. Delete the one you did and then reform from clean. Yes.
I'm sorry, is there a deadline?
Oh, what's that?
Deadline time or limited time we should do this to have full.
There's no, good question. So everybody, before I break you, the question was, is there like a time limit or I call them time boxes,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's going to be different, how long you take to do each thing. So this class, more than any other class, is about time management. 301, you're really going to have to take a step in this way of organizing yourself and managing your own time. It's really hard to do the first few. So if you feel yourself going in too long on these things, like these labs should take you about 45 minutes each, roughly. Lab D that we just did should take 5 minutes. That's an easy one. But the other three, about 45 minutes. If you feel like you're too long and it's getting too difficult, that's when you want to start raising your hand and getting help. But yeah, I wouldn't go more than an hour on any one of those labs. If you feel like you're going more than an hour, then definitely call for help for those.